Singapore has recently been ranked as the most competitive Asian city. We have one of the most internet-savvy populations in the world. But too much of a good thing can be bad. Singapore is seeing a growing number in the cases of cyber addiction. Joining me today is from the Institute of the Mental Health is Dr. Ong Se Hao. Welcome to the program, Doctor.
Hi, Pedro. It's nice to be here.
Yes, so perhaps we can jump straight into it. What exactly is cyber addiction?
Well, there are many names to cyber addiction. Some people have called it pathological internet use or excessive internet use. But fundamentally, it is a maladaptive pattern of behavior involving excessive internet use and over-reliance on internet to achieve its means, thus leading to many problems and impairment to the individual's social, academic, and even occupational functioning.
You mentioned that one part of cyber addiction is over-reliance on the internet. But in Singapore especially, the internet is integrated into our life. We use smartphones, we use iPad. So, what are some telltale signs that someone is a cyber addict?
Yeah, sure. Over-reliant use usually has a few characteristics. Not just you're using more, but you're using more and more each day to help you achieve something. Most of the time, people use internet for pleasure, for entertainment, to escape from reality, to cope with stress. But sometimes people use internet to play games, to boost their ego, to make themselves feel good or better or stronger. So when it comes to over-reliance, means that you are using it excessively, but also in a maladaptive way, whereby you overuse it at the expense of your obligations in terms of your job, in your academic learning. You may withdraw from your friends, you may not want to go out with your family, and you might even sacrifice sleep and your meals to just play. So over time, this will definitely have a detrimental effect on the physical body, the physical health, mental health, as well as interpersonal relationship with family and friends.
So how is the situation of cyber addiction in Singapore?
Well, you said it correctly just now that Singapore is probably one of the highest internet users in the world. And we can't run away from internet use in schools and offices and at homes. A study with a few thousand teenagers in Singapore showed that the percentage of internet addiction could be as high as 17%. So that means 1 in every 10 kids or so may have problems in using internet, to the point whereby they're not just using more, excessive, but they also demanding more time to play computer, use computer, and they may get irritable, angry, agitated if they don't get to use it. And some of the social problems that we find in these kids is that they may become extremely aggressive or even violent towards the family members who try to help them to stop the use of internet.
So, Singapore is also seeing a rise in pathological gaming. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Pathological gaming will involve the use of video games via the computer. So it can be either linked online or as a software that you installed. So naturally, if you look at the figures, it'll be less than cyber addiction because that would be the whole internet use. So we're looking at about 6.8% of teenagers locally who may be having cyber gaming problems. Well, cyber gaming is something that is, and cyber addiction is something quite new, and until recently, the jury is still out there whether it's a social problem or is it a mental health problem. But studies have shown that it is possibly a very real mental health condition, a mental illness. I would liken it to pathological gambling. Now that you have the 2 casinos up and everybody is just so worried about increase in pathological gambling, and people are getting into bankruptcy and their families are getting destroyed because of that. So likewise, pathological gaming or addiction could be something like that.
So perhaps what are the steps that one person can take if they know someone is in cyber addict?
Well, I think we need to make sure that it is indeed cyber addiction before we call someone an addict, because nobody likes to be called an addict. So we need to study the behavior and the consequences of the internet use. I think it's very important to hear it from the individual's point of view. Yeah, right. Because of generation gap or age gap, the parent may not understand why the child has to use so much computer, but the child may indeed have to use it for research and study purposes. And also do look into the impact it has on the family life, on friendships, on the studies, whether the child is deteriorating in his grades. Talk to teachers or other caregivers that have been in close contact with the kid. And if there is a significant problem, I think it's good to talk to the child, not reprimand the child, but to talk to the child, come up with something reasonable. I would recommend about 2 hours a day of any form of internet use or gaming. This I would think be the non-essential ones, like social media, network media, social networking medium,
yes,
and as well as and also gaming included, right? So I think if you could build up the trust and the adults while helping the child to continue using the internet, and with ample adult supervision, usually most gamers would improve. It is the most difficult cases whereby they have already affected the relationship, whereby there's a lot of anger and frustration. That's when we find it's most difficult for us to help.
I see. Thank you very much for actually sharing your views. I think it was definitely very insightful today. Thank you for joining us today. We actually want to wish you and IMH success in your battle against cyber addiction.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, next up is Muse. Today, our valiant team put on their tutus and dancing shoes and lock their way into the culture of street dance.
This is not just any dance studio. This is Dance Meets, the epicenter for street dancers to gather and share their passion. The popularity of street dancing is steadily on the rise. Dance Meets aims to bring these people together by frequently organizing dance events. Students of NTU may have seen founder Tan Zhiming perform a short segment at the recent NTU Hall Dance competition. Today, he is going to share with us some techniques of popping.
The idea of popping itself is the tension of muscles. This is the pop. And then we do this according to the beat. So boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha. So this is how we dance to the music. We have the arm pop, we have the chest pop, we have the legs pop, then we have the neck pop. During the whole dance itself, we actually do it together. Different people with different body structure, they can do it in different power. So that's how dancers will look different.
A variation of popping is the boogaloo. Zhiming shows us how it's done.
There's a lot of roll and stuff, just chill, roll.
Zhong Wei Fong is the co-founder of Dance Meets and also a dance instructor. He tells us more about an alternative dance style.
I specialize in the style of locking. Locking is not so much separated in the styles, but more commonly in how you portray locking. All of us have our personal preference. For me, locking, I like the cowboy style, like to look cool. So when I lock, then to lean slightly backwards, look around a little bit, roll my chest, and
not only does Dance Meets organize dance classes, they are enthusiastic participants at numerous competitions. Each month, informal dance battles are held at the studio, all in good fun. If you have a budding interest in street dance culture, be sure to check out the annual hip-hop dance battle Get Down happening this December. This is Amber, reporting for Nanyang Spectrum.
Well, that's our program for today. We hope you enjoyed it.
And if you've got any comments or you simply want to know more about what you've seen on the show, we want to hear from you.
That's right. Write to us at ntu.spectrum.tv@gmail.com. And don't forget to submit your answers to the contest today as well.
Also, remember to like us on Facebook at, of course, facebook.com/SpectrumTV. I'm Teoman.
And I'm Cynthia. Thank you so much for watching Nanyang Spectrum.